Hi, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Anita and I mainly post content about grad school applications. In today's video, we are joined by my friend Waithera.
Hi!
For today's video, we're going to talk about our admission interview. So Waithera was admitted to do a PhD in polymer chemistry at the University of Connecticut, and I was admitted to do a Master of Science in International Health and Tropical Medicine at the University of Oxford. At that moment where I logged off, because it was virtual, after logging off, I honestly did not think I would get in. So for the day of the interview, what time was your interview and how was the setting? How many people came? Who are they in the department?
Okay, so for me, my interview was at 4 p.m. Kenyan time. That's 8 a.m. New York time. And I had two faculty members interview me. Both of them were professors. One was a professor of organic chemistry and the other one is the chairman of the department. Now, the only bad thing, or rather thing that made me panic, was my interview lasted for 20 minutes. And normally,
why did it make you panic?
Because like when you go online on YouTube, guys tell you it's gonna range from 45 minutes to an hour. So I was like, 20 minutes.
Have I done enough?
Like, do they know enough? You also start to question yourself, like you are not so good, so they just didn't see the potential in you as a student. And I remember one of the last questions I asked was how long I'll stay before like getting the final email, and the professor said 2 weeks. Took 2.5 weeks. So when it passed the 2-week mark, I was like, we're not going to school. As in,
for me, when the interview for inviting me for the email, told me a panel will interview me. So I expected a crowd. So we had 4 people. So the course director, and then 2 of the senior faculty members, and then the course I don't know if it's course assistant or course coordinator, the one who prepares lectures, prepares everything, directs everything, the one who also sent me the email to invite me.
The coordinator, the program coordinator.
So she didn't ask any question. She was just there to make sure everything is going on okay. So 3 people technically are the ones who are asking the questions. Each of the 3 asked me one question, and then there was one general question. So 4 main questions. So that's the setting. Now we're at the interview. What questions were asked? Now that you were not so right and you got the questions that you had prepared for, what questions were these? And just give us a preview of your responses.
So for me, I was asked to tell them about myself, why I chose UConn, where I see myself like career-wise in 10 years. And the last question was my strengths and weaknesses. So those are the only questions that I got. And like even the feed-in questions for me, I remember it was just after I said tell us about yourself, so they wanted to know a brief history about my academic self, so like what I did in JQuat, the units I had. But other than that, I only had those questions, which I had prepared.
This is a whole 2 pages of answers.
Yes, I had literally prepared for all the answers. And so when the questions came, I was okay. One thing I can say is be confident. Because it's your story anyways. So be confident in your
That's one thing my boss told me during the book, that you are telling your story. You're the one who knows it best. So like for example, the question for what are your strengths and weaknesses?
So actually I can read it out loud.
4 pages of answers. Actually 5.
Actually there are more. Because strength and weaknesses. So self-awareness and high level of ambition. I know what I need to do to achieve my career goals, and I'm very passionate about getting to where I want to be. My other strengths include my hardworking nature, agility, commitment to my goals, and supporting people in achieving their goals, which is what grad school is about. My weakness is the fact that I am sometimes shy in a new environment, and I pin this to the fact that I am still young and relatively inexperienced. However, I am someone who genuinely wants to learn and improve, and I will use my time at grad school to build my confidence and seek ways to learn from my lecturers and other students. So that's just one example of the strength and weakness question. And I think one trick to this question is, like, don't give a strength as a weakness, guys. Don't give a strength as a weakness, and also don't give a serious weakness, because
that
if you say that cannot be helped. Like, you see, in my case, I said I'm shy in a new environment, and how am I seeking to improve on this weakness? And then for my strengths, I literally gave them things that would like sue in my teamwork ability, my resilience, my agility, all together. So it's a very tricky question. Yeah,
great. There's also one other question I wanted to hear what you said.
Yes.
Not the tell us about yourself. That one we have a whole video of you telling us about yourself. There was another one. There was why tell us about yourself. Why
yes.
UConn?
And why UConn, the strength and weaknesses,
your career goals
and my career
10
goals in 10 years.
What did you say?
So my career goals in 10 years.
Career goal as a chemist.
So in 10 years, my answer was explore the sustainability gap in polymer science technology through research, and become a pioneer of innovative and sustainable polymer solutions that protect the environment as a researcher. So my goal at the end of this PhD is to continue with research that will bridge the sustainability gap in polymer chemistry, where we find a balance between plastic pollution and like manufacturing of plastics, because plastics are important, but we have to find a way to mitigate the effects and the causes, the degrading effects on the environment. So that's what I stated as my career goal. It's very key to state whether you want to remain in academia or research, or you want to go and work. So for me, it was clear from what I want to do that beyond my PhD, I still want to go on with the research, because my career goal is to solve the sustainability gap in plastics. So have those clear and concise statements that state what exactly you want to do. If you want to go into academia, maybe you'll also take seriously like your teaching assistantships, because that means you'll be lecturing in future. So taking that seriously, and how this PhD or master's will shape that line of academia. If it's work, which industries will you work in, and why? And how will this PhD get you or enable you to get the job that you want? I forgot to mention. Also, while mentioning my career goals, I had to mention that I'll come back to Kenya.
Oh.
Yeah, because the US visa, guys. 5 years after you're done, come back to your country. So
don't show them like you go there and give them problems, they overstay.
Yeah, don't overstay your stay. You're welcome. So I also mentioned that I'll be working with KIRDI. KIRDI is the Industrial Research Institute in the country, and primarily right now they're also moving towards circular economy, and plastics is one of the things they're trying to make circular. And since my research at university will primarily
Guys, I've talked to Waithera several times. I've had her talk about her research so many times, but I'm still mesmerized anytime I hear about it.
Thank you.
Great stuff. So for me, so each person, as I said, asked me one question.
Yeah.
So the first person, the course director, asked me, of course, the introduction, and then they told me, so this course is very unique. The International Health and Tropical Medicine at Oxford is very unique, which is actually why I liked it, because it's specifically tailored to train researchers to conduct research in resource limited contexts. And my long-term goal is to help improve health and health policy formulation in the global south. So that is why I specifically chose it. So my first question I got was, why this specific course? Why not any public health or health research course in any other university? Why specifically IHTM at Oxford? And why at this point in your career? Why now? So why this one and why now? And then the second question was, the course also has a leadership aspect to it, which is another reason why I chose it. Because it helps to train health policymakers, future health, global health leaders. So the second question was, because the course has a leadership component, what does leadership mean to you? And where do you see yourself as a leader in your field or in your career moving forward? Yep. And then each question was building from the nature of the course, I think. So the third question was, the course is interdisciplinary. So we have individuals from different backgrounds, nutrition, health, like even IT. So it has people from different backgrounds coming together. And also the course itself, we are taught using an interdisciplinary approach. So you're asked, what strengths and what weaknesses do you see in this, in working with people from different and diverse backgrounds, both from their homes, like they're from different countries, and from their educational backgrounds and professional backgrounds. We had that one. And then the last one, they actually told me, this one we just want to see how you think. They actually told me that we just want to see how you think. So this is just going to be just a normal, just an application question. So I was asked, if you won the lottery, like £1 million, was it 1 million or 10 million? Such just a buttload of money. What would you do with this money in line with your career goals, and how would you ensure that what you've done is sustainable? So what does leadership mean to me? I can't remember. Okay, obviously I can't remember the exact ones, because those ones just come. They come in the moment. But I think just a brief what I said. I said leadership. To me, being a leader is being in a position to uplift others. I think it was something like that, like being in a position of power and using this power to help other people come up. So and then I said, so for example, like moving forward, I see myself a global future global health leader who will participate in formulation of sound health policy formulation to address health inequities, especially in the global south. Because in my personal statement, I had mentioned that my ultimate goal is to address health inequity, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, which has been brought openly by even the COVID-19 pandemic. So I talked about the health inequities I've seen and how I would want to address these inequities, starting from the root cause, which is the policies. So by participating and advising sound health policy formulation to address the inequities and allocate resources to the people who have more problems and who need them more. So I talked basically about being a future global health leader and health policy formulation and addressing health inequities, which is what I'm passionate about. And then the lottery one. So first I laughed. I started by saying that one of my long-term career goals, which I also mentioned in the personal statement, one of my long-term career goals, like towards the twilight of my career, is to set up a form of a data laboratory where we'll have a pool of specialists from different fields coming together to conduct research that has a common goal to address specific health problems in society. Kind of like where I'm working at SEMA Africa. So I said that if I won the lottery now, I'd have ultimately achieved my ultimate career goal earlier in time. So I made it somewhat like a joke, but I brought about like my ultimate career goal. So I told them what I would do with the money is achieve my ultimate career goal, which is set up a data lab. So I would have the lab and equip it with all the necessary equipment to conduct world-class research, and I would have specialists from different specialists from different departments. Like we'll have the nutrition, we'll have lab, we'll have epidemiology, we'll have statistics, data scientists coming up to conduct sound health research that is used to drive health policy formulation in Africa. And that to ensure that this is sustainable, I would invest in training and education to increase the pool of knowledge within, because you find that this pool of knowledge, if we increase and tap into it, then the quality of research that would come out from this lab would be exceptional. So I talked about that, and also one other way I would ensure it's sustainable is partnering up with the government and government departments like the Ministry of Health. Because once you start working with the government, then your plan becomes long term. It doesn't come a pipeline like just it doesn't end with you, because government is
the enablers.
So I would partner up with government and government institutions to ensure that the dream lives on even after me. After the interview, were you given a chance to ask questions, and what did you ask?
I think that's mostly the last question, like what questions you have for the faculty interviewing you. And guys, it's important for you guys to ask questions. Don't say I don't have any questions. It doesn't look good. So definitely ask questions. For me, I also had a list of questions. I had 12 questions written down because it's 5 years, guys. It's 5 years, and I wanted to know if I'll be okay or not. But also because of time, I only managed to ask 5 questions. And the first question I asked was, what are your graduates doing now? So guys who finished school, like where are they? Because this would give you an overview of whether most of their graduates actually graduate, number one, whether they get into the job market or they're just stranded. So for me, that was an important question to know. And then another thing, because funding your graduate school is expensive, I wanted to know how, like, the percentage of students that have assistantships. That's research assistantship or teaching assistantship. And this is important if you're doing a master's, because not everyone gets a GA when you're doing a master's. For PhD students, it's guaranteed, but then for master students, it's not. And the other question I asked, is there a limit to the number of years or semesters a student can receive assistantship? Because summer is normally not covered in your GA, so you have to budget well to ensure that the money that you get will sustain you for the 3 months of summer. Does the schools financially support students' travels to conferences? And which is interesting, because I initially thought the school will cater for all the travel costs, accommodation to conferences, and they only support 2
per year.
No,
all
the 5 years, like just 2. Imagine. So the other ones, once you get your research advisor, depending on the grants that the research advisor has, that now will determine how many conferences I'll go to. And that's why it's important for you to take your time before choosing your research advisor.
But you should also read the room.
You
should. Like, you prepare, but you read the room. And decide, like, maybe I won't ask this one. Maybe they've already addressed it when you were speaking.
When you're speaking, yes.
So that you don't sound redundant. Okay, so for me, I was so tired by the time I was done. I just asked 2 questions. So Oxford has a tutoring system, where you're assigned tutors, and you have academic tutor, you have the project tutor. So I had read it on the website, but I hadn't really understood. So I asked them to elaborate on the tutor system and how many tutors are assigned per student, and what is the role of each tutor. And also, if I want to do research with someone else and I have been assigned a different tutor, can I exchange? Just the whole tutor system. And then I also asked about the average class size that is expected for our course. And lastly, I asked them, of course, when would I expect to hear back? If I got in or not.
Actually, that's That's the most difficult question you can ask.
Because you might be asking, and maybe in their minds they're like, bruh, you're not going anywhere.
You're not gonna get it.
So they told me. So I told you my interview was on 12th January. They told me by the end of the month. Yeah, and it actually came at the end. It came on 28th January, but they told me by the end. So by the end, means anytime between now and the end of the month. But it came on 28th.
I think what also people don't say is dealing with the imposter syndrome after your interview or when you're applying, like throughout this whole process. That syndrome,
and it comes in episodes.
And it's so demotivating because, like, the way you said after you were done, you also felt like I'm not getting in. It also happened. Just beware of the imposter syndrome and fight through it, because you're honestly the best. You can do this.
There's a reason they called you. They want to know more about you. So just be yourself. Confident, be yourself. As I said, okay, I like making jokes. If you know me personally, you know I like joking. So I brought that to the interview, and it worked in my favor, because you have to be authentic.
Yes.
They don't expect a robot. They expect a
They also want a fun person. Like there's also a culture. There's also a school culture. So you have to fit in the school culture. Actually, that's one thing. The university's website is very important, and I see these days they have videos of like student life. Please watch them, because you'll get to understand like the culture and the feel of the school, and then you bring that vibe to the interview. Definitely pass, even if your interview is 10 minutes. You can't.
And remember to smile. Don't act like you're offended being there. I think we've talked about everything to do with interviews.
Yes.
If we left something out, you can ask on the comments, and we can address that in the comments. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.